We're celebrating the life of my beautiful wife and the love of my life for 32 years, Josephine McGill. Josephine was born Yinling Chu in Guangzhou, China on May 11, 1968 to Chukmon Chu and Chun Mulong. She grew up in Guangzhou with her sister, Weilin Chu, and moved to Hong Kong at age 11, and then again with her family to Louisville, Kentucky at age 18. Josephine excelled in her studies and received a full scholarship to the University of Louisville, where she earned a BS in mathematics with a minor in actuarial sciences. Following graduation, her high school sweetheart, James McGill, that's me, asked her to marry him, and I'm eternally grateful that she said yes. We married in October 1996, and shortly thereafter moved to Baton Rouge, Louisiana. While there, Josephine not only learned Cajun and Lebanese recipes, she was an excellent cook, but also made lifelong friends in Gada and David Lonnie and Fran and Paul Koisenkoten. After several years in the Louisiana heat, we made the bold decision to move to the much colder climate of Calgary, seriously, we have Chinooks, Alberta, Canada. In Calgary, we made more lifelong friends, and later godparents to our children, in Sandy and Brian Moreland. While in Calgary, Josephine worked for Brian for several years in the oil and gas industry and developed a well-earned, and not surprising, reputation as a straight shooter who gets things done. We also welcomed our first daughter, Keena Maywa McGill, after 24 short hours of labor. After 9 years, we moved to Pittsburgh. We have a lot of hills and get a lot of snow, Pennsylvania. During this time, Josephine worked in the financial industry and started her long association with the Girl Scouts. We also had our second daughter, Ava Mei-Ling McGill, who came out much easier than Keena, even though she had a hand on her head thinking. Yearning for warmer climates, we moved to Katy Snow, what's that, Texas. Josephine worked in the oil and gas industry for several years before deciding to dedicate herself to being a loving mother, a caring sister and aunt, a loyal friend, a tireless Girl Scout volunteer, a robotics coach and advocate, a stalwart Democratic activist, and of course, a fierce warrior. I'd now like to share with you some pictures and videos that celebrate Josephine's life.
Hi, I'm Dallas Laird. Josephine and I met back in 2016 when our kids started attending IL, Texas. And she was a liberal, and I was a liberal, so like the liberal in me, recognize the liberal in her. And we got along really, really well. She was one of the most compassionate, kindest people I ever knew. Whenever Beto was running for Senate, she went out of her way to bring my little boy, who totally idolized Beto, to bring him some Beto merch. She brought him some pins and stickers, and he still has the sign that she had brought him posted up on his wall in his bedroom. And then she just always went out of her way for her friends. But one of my favorite stories, though, is about her husband. We got to talking, and I mentioned the band Queen. I can't remember exactly how it came up. And she was like, yeah, my husband, he looks like this guy from this band. They did the Rock You song. And I'm like, Joe, that's Queen. No, it's not. Josephine, that's Queen. That's Freddie Mercury. Who? She's like, she really didn't know who Freddie Mercury was. So I sent her a picture. She's like, oh yeah, him. I just didn't know his name. And I'm like, really, Joe? You didn't know who Freddie Mercury was? But she was so proud of her husband and her kids. I mean, you guys were her world. And she gave of herself to literally everybody who ever met her. It didn't matter if she knew you for 5 years or 5 minutes. I mean, once you were her friend, you mattered to her, and she would go out of her way for all of us. And I mean, words really can't express how much I'm going to miss her. I mean, we didn't get to see each other that often in the flesh, but we talked a lot, and I'm going to miss those talks. And the arguments, but mostly the talks. I love you, Joe.
Okay, this video is to memorialize a promise made from daughter to mother. Mother, what is the promise?
Kena, you're gonna promise me that you're never gonna roll your eyes on me?
I promise. I promise. Pinky promise.
She pretending
Pinky
she
promise?
promises.
Josephine is my sister. Her Chinese name is Jiu Yinling, and mine is Jiu Weiling. She's only 3 years older than me, but she's always been a big sister. She is brave and always looking after me. She adored me as a little sister since the very first day I was born. She made me feel so loved and protected while I was growing up with her. So I was very lucky to have her in my life. Just 3 years after we moved to Louisville from Hong Kong, our mom passed away, also from cancer. We were in high school then. She was a senior and I was a junior. After mom passed away, Josephine did all the cooking and grocery shopping, and I did the cleaning. So we kind of complimented each other and took care of each other until we graduated from college. After college, she moved away with James and started their lives together. I was sad and cried, of course, but I was very happy for her. She was very much in love, and I sent her away with a lot of joy, knowing that she'll be happy being with the love of her life, James McGill. She let my husband and I keep her dog. She loved that dog. The dog's name was Jizai. He was maybe 4 or 5 years old when she and James moved away, so we kept the dog, and she always came back and visited and loved being around that dog. Since then, we had not lived in the same city, so for over 25 years. But we visited each other every single week and always looked forward to visiting them when they were in Canada for many years. Loved Calgary and Banff, where we spent some time in skiing and hiking. So when we visit each other after we had children, it's even more fun. We took many family trips together and have lots of good photos and memories that I cherish for the rest of my life. When we visited each other, it was a good time. We wanted our kids to be close. So, we love shopping and dining out with the families. Those are really good times in Houston. Lots of Chinese restaurants that she always took us to. We would sometimes just sit in the dining room and just chat for hours and really just enjoy the time we had together. I will miss her every day, but I have lots of good memories and photos that will stay with me, and I will miss her a lot, actually. Next, my children will also share a dedication to their auntie. Here's Jasmine and Adam.
Josephine McGill, my aunt. Our families visit each other every single year, sometimes more than that, sometimes 3 times a year. She is such a funny and well-spoken person. She is so nice and caring and also interesting, but in a good way. My favorite memory with her was the winter time, and we were at one of her friend's house, and I remember her having a good time seeing people and her friends all together talking. She is such a strong person, and I respect that a lot about her. She won't let people take over and take abuse from anybody, and that makes her one of the best people I know.
Auntie Josephine has played such a big role in my life ever since the day I was born. She has always been a positive role model with her strong personality yet loving heart. She was always lighting up the room with her wonderful sense of humor. She was always there to teach important life lessons like cooking and other practical skills. She was also always there to support you, whether that be emotionally or to support your goals and dreams. She was all in all such an awesome person and will continue her legacy based on her actions.
Hey, James and Ava and Keena, I just wanted to tell you how honored I am and what a joy it's been to have had Josephine as a friend for the last 20 some odd years. She's just the loveliest person, and I'm going to miss her so much. She was so nurturing. I think about her all the time when I'm in the garden. She gave me some ginger, and I just think about how she loved all the plants, and I know she would have brought every plant home to your yard if she could have. And that just goes with her personality of just being so nurturing and caring for other people, and just so positive. And she brought that positivity through everything she did, whether it was the Girl Scouts or the Democratic Party, and she was a joy to be with because of that. We had so many good times. I think about all the great meals that we had together, and I had to laugh just because if I think about, like, if you put a plate of crawfish or crab down in front of her, you knew she was going to go at it with such a passion, and she would work through it, and there would be nothing left. And she did that with life as well. She just gave everything she had, and she got the most out of it. And I'm so proud of her with how she attacked her illness. And I know that she got all she could out of life. And I just know that she loved you guys so much. And I hope I can be there to support you and show you the love that Josephine had and keep that going.
Brian and I met James and Josephine through work. James worked with me at a software company in Calgary, and Josephine was introduced to Brian through me.
I hired Josephine to work for me as a business analyst. As the years passed, colleagues became friends, and our dear friends James and Josephine became family.
Kina and Ava are our goddaughters, and the girls have many family stories about Uncle Danger and I. But early on in our friendship with James and Josephine, before the girls were born, we often had them over for games night.
One night we were playing Scruples, and we got into the plight of little Johnny. That spurred a moral debate for the ages that our friend Joyce has yet to live down. Josephine's distinctive laugh echoed through our home that night.
So after we abandoned playing Scruples, we would often play Trivial Pursuit. I still remember one question. What article of clothing will men wear even if there are only 2 threads of cloth left? The question was barely asked when Josephine leapt out for seat and shouted underwear. Needless to say, she was right, and all the ladies had a good laugh at the guy's expense.
In Katy, we saw Josephine deeply involved in Girl Scouts, First Robotics, and the Democratic Party. I can say that years ago, when Josephine worked with me, she was never shy to speak truth to power, whether it be to me, her boss, or to the CEO of our company. She definitely carried this forward, especially as a Democrat.
I could not close without sharing that once I was asked by my CEO who were the women that I admired most, and Josephine was at the top of my list. Her commitment and passion for James and the girls, for her community, and for accomplishing the goals that were most important to her was inspiring. In short, Josephine was a force for good, and she challenged all of us to step up and make a difference, be it in a friendship, at school, or in our areas of passion. I know that Josephine's spirit will be with all of us until we meet her again. So all Josephine's Canadian friends and family will always love and miss our Mama Bear.
I first met Josephine when I signed my daughters up for the GSS3C Robotics Special Interest Group. And Mary and Sarah had so much fun doing that with them and learned so much. And then they went on to join the Brainiac Maniacs. And then they, after they got done with their FLL season of Brainiac Maniacs, Laura had seen how much fun they had doing it, and so she joined for 3 years. And so I just got to see Josephine and know her and see what a special person she was. She's just so feisty and cares about people and just a unique individual, and as Laura puts it, unapologetically herself. And now all 4 of my daughters do Girl Scout robotics, and they wouldn't be doing that if it weren't for the McGills. And my favorite memory of Josephine is being with her at Space Out at Misty Meadows. So while Laura and Ava and Jada were doing the different stations for Space Out, Josephine and I just got to sit and talk. And we got to sit and talk like for the longest time that we had ever gotten to sit and talk together. And just I really got to know even more how special she was. And she's such a force caring about political causes and more concerned with people, other people than herself. And, she had terminal cancer, but she would ask how you're doing, and she would be concerned about everybody else. And that, I think if I were in her position, I just would have given up, and she just kept fighting and got people registered to vote and encouraged people to vote and fought for civil rights. And it's just, the world is going to be sad about her, but I'm really glad that we have her in our lives for those 4 years. I really am.
Hi, I'm Mary. Hi, I'm Sarah.
Hi, I'm Laura.
So we met Miss McGill when me and Sarah originally joined the what's it called? The special interest group in 6th grade, and it was so much fun. I hadn't done robotics since like 2nd grade, and I'd always wanted to keep doing it more. And when we got there, I was kind of nervous because I was young. I had no idea who literally anyone was there. It was all the way out in Houston. The building was big and scary, but stop laughing. But Miss McGill and Mr. McGill, they made us feel so welcome. Everyone was so nice there. Not only did we learn a lot about robotics, we met amazing people, and they kind of like sparked our love for robotics again. And now we've been part of such an amazing community for so long, and I probably wouldn't have been joined if they weren't there.
My favorite memory with Miss McGill happened in my first year of robotics. It was like the Friday before regionals, and so we were doing last minute practices, and me and Alana realized that everything like wasn't working properly, and Mrs. McGill, Mr. James was out on a business trip, so Miss McGill was just like, oh, just take apart the bot, it'll be fine, just, check the wheels. Make sure they're like okay. And me and Alana said okay. And so we took apart the bot thinking that we could just put it back together looking at the backup bot. But then Mr. McGill came home like while we were taking it apart, like pieces in our hands. Like we looked like deers in headlights, and then he was just like, oh, and then just walked away. And me and Mrs. McGill and Alana were just like dying laughing. And that, like, when I think of Mrs. McGill, I definitely think of that memory like the most.
So my favorite memory with Miss McGill was definitely last year at Twilight Camp. I had gotten put on the canoe team, so we were doing canoeing paddle boating, even though I had never taught canoeing before. I'd obviously had like experience with it in the past at Pilot Camp, but I really did not know how to teach it. I didn't even know the fundamentals myself. But Miss McGill was super kind, and she really taught me everything that I know now about canoeing and like how I can teach it to others too. And so she was a really good mentor in that aspect. And we had so much fun because every day we'd always be like joking around underneath the canoeing pavilion, and it was just really enjoyable every day for Miss McGill.
This week, I lost my friend. It's taken me a long time to process. And even though I knew Josephine had terminal cancer, I honestly can't believe she's really gone. Josephine is the strongest person I have ever known. And I do say is, not was, because Josephine is not going anywhere. She will forevermore live in the hearts of her beautiful daughters and her amazing husband. I have no doubt that she will also continue to watch over all of the causes and organizations that she championed in life. Josephine was raw passion. She unapologetically lived her truth, fighting injustices in this world and loving fiercely. She tirelessly campaigned for political candidates in the Democratic Party. She volunteered countless hours for Girl Scouts, First Robotics, and she fought for many causes, including women's rights, the Me Too movement, human rights, the LGBTQ community, and she fought for diversity, inclusion, transparency of knowledge and science. She tried to get everyone she ever knew registered to vote, so that their voice could be heard. She truly was a friend to anyone in need. Josephine was better than this world deserved. Unfortunately, as you know, having never smoked a day in her life, Josephine lost her battle with lung cancer on the morning of June 3rd. The injustice of this breaks me. I hate cancer. I will, however, be forever grateful that I knew Josephine, and that I had the profound honor of calling her my friend. Josephine touched my life. She touched the life of my daughter. And we will miss her so very, very much. Don't ever think you are just one person. How much could your life really matter? What difference could you really make in this world? Because Josephine is a living testament to how much one person can truly accomplish and how many lives they can truly impact. So I promise you this, Josephine. We will pick up that torch and we will warrior on, because you would kick our butt if we didn't. But we will miss you so very, very much.
Hi, my name is Emma Laneless, and I would like to participate in Josephine McGill's celebration of life. Josephine was my coach and mentor on the Brainiac Maniacs robotics team, but more than that, she was my friend. When I met Josephine, I was being bullied at school because I was smart and I always knew the answers. Josephine told me that being smart was my superpower and it was incredible. She then encouraged me to join Mensa Youth and Duke Tips. Josephine always knew what to say and do when someone was hurting, and I remember the Brainiac Maniacs went to the FLO World Championship and we were practicing our project presentation when I forgot my lines. I got super stressed out and started crying. Miss Josephine then came over and said, "Put all the robotic stuff away, let's go do some yoga." And we did. It calmed the whole team down and brought us all back together. We were able to refocus and did great at our project presentation. Josephine was the most kind and caring person I know. Now here is a message to her. Josephine, I will miss you very, very much, but you will always live in my heart. Thank you.
I met Miss Josephine while at Isle, Texas when I attended school with Ava. I was very shy, so Miss Josephine encouraged me to join the Brainiac Maniacs robotics group and join Girl Scouts. As my coach, she mentored me into becoming better with public speaking. At Isle, Texas, she had picked me up from school if my mom wasn't available. In 5th grade, my mom was running late for graduation. Miss Josephine told me not to worry and took pictures of my graduation. You have been such an inspiration to me. I have always been welcome at your home, and I will miss going out to movies and ice cream at Frida's with you and Ava. Thank you for being a part of my life. It means a lot to me and my family. I will always remember you.
I am Ria Sharma, and I am here to celebrate Miss Josephine's life. I am so grateful that she started the Brainiac Maniacs, and she helped me understand the importance of teamwork and perseverance. She opened up her house to us, and she didn't mind when we filled her living room with Legos and posters. She was always there to comfort me and cheer me up through all the ups and downs. During the World Championships, our team was a little nervous about going up against the best in the world, but Miss Josephine taught us that we deserved to be there and that we had worked so hard to get to where we were. Seeing her smiling and giving hugs to everyone at competitions really encourages me to do my hardest. Dear Miss Josephine, you are so kind-hearted and caring, and you will always hold a special place in my heart. You give the best hugs ever, and I will miss you.
Josephine was always there to encourage me, be there for me, and comfort me. She was more than a mentor, she was like family. Miss Josephine, I'll still keep my promise not to be shy, and you'll always be in my heart. Thanks for everything.
Josephine McGill is my best friend. She is caring, loving, optimistic, generous to all people around her. She was my dear sister. She was a good listener and a problem solver. She was a dedicated, courageous, compassionate, and vocal activist and democratic warrior, campaigned for many candidates tirelessly for the past 4 years while she was battling with cancer. She gave all her time, energy, love to democratic causes. She has all virtues that a human being could dream to have. I had an honor to appoint her as my wonderful assistant in AADC organization. She had been representing me to many important meetings. She joined me in many cultural and political events. She was also one of the strongest supporters and leaders to former presidential candidate Andrew Yang in our Young and America team. Most impressive memory was when I was hosting a fundraiser for Andrew Yang at my house. She was the first, came to help me setting up the event. She climbed up the ladders, up and down, to put on the banner for me while I was suffering from the dizziness. She was driving young leaders from across the country to attend the Houston presidential debate when she was going through the chemotherapy in those days. She joined me in setting up the meetings with DNC on behalf of AADC, hosted by AADC at my residence. She enjoyed and worked very hard in the afterwards campaign activities, such as the volunteering at the presidential debate watch party hosted by AADC and the TDP. And then she did text banking, canvassing for all the candidates, including Andrew Yang. Josephine is a good role model of activists and fighters for democracy. And former presidential candidate Andrew Yang is paying her a tribute by tweeting, "For Josephine, we can win Texas this November." He was calling the donations to turn Texas blue to honor Josephine. And the Democrats and Yangan, thousands of Yangan and Democrats across the country are encouraged by her. The legacy she left for the Democratic Party will have a lasting impact on grassroots Democrats to make a change. She is becoming the torch, lighting the field across the country. Dear Josephine, we will carry your torch to the victory. Please rest in peace. Love you, miss you forever.
Josephine and I met shortly after I moved here in 2016. We met through Pantsuit Republic Katie, and we quickly got involved with protests, going to meetings, and just getting involved. But we quickly realized we had a lot in common: our interest in yoga, our interest in cooking and food and going out to eat, and our friendship just developed from there. She was always great for doing spontaneous trips, going any vegan restaurant even though she's not vegan, and she was a person who pushed us all. She pushed us all out of our comfort zone. She asked us to look at ourselves, to look at our values, to see how we could grow and how we could change. And for that, I'm forever grateful.
Josephine lives on in her father, sister, daughters, and me. She will be sorely missed as she made a lasting impact not only in her family, but her friends and the community as well. Her impact is clearly shown by the hundreds of posts, comments, tweets, and emails on her passing. I am also honored to say that starting in the next academic year, the annual Katy Parent of Gifted and Talented, or KPGT, scholarship to Katy ISD Gifted and Talented seniors will be renamed to the Josephine McGill Scholarship in honor of her many years of service on the KPGT board. Last week, Josephine's ashes were spread in the oceans she loved so much. The best way to honor Josephine's legacy is by volunteering for worthy causes such as FIRST, the Girl Scouts, or the Democratic Party, donating in Josephine's name to the MD Anderson Cancer Center, the Girl Scouts of San Jacinto Council, or the Democratic National Committee, giving blood at the MD Anderson Cancer Center, or locally as there is a severe shortage, or being a friend to those who need it. Scan any of the QR codes to open a website for each of the causes, or click a link in the video description. Josephine, you are missed.